much of a sequential thing as possible. Okay, so we don't want to end up going and really being slow with the movement pattern, right? We want to be able to, one, get this foot down, okay, and when we get the front foot down, we want to keep most of the weight in that back foot, and then rotate into that front foot and with that front hip. If anything, it would be better to keep that front hip closed, so then you could use hip rotation and opening up the hip as a driving force when going through the throw. Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to better synchronize the throw, and we'll start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. We don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so big thing here that I see a lot when people are going through the throw has a lot to do with the timing of what wants to happen as we're foot hits the ground, the hips are rotating, the front shoulder coming open, and actually delivering the ball. We want to be able to slow that down and really give you an understanding of how that should be sequencing and how to make it so you can generate the most amount of a consistent force within the throw. So what I commonly see happen here, and there's a lot of different things that obviously are different stages of this, but I'm going to try to break it down to the most simplistic way as possible. But generally what we see is people will go and immediately kind of shift their weight onto their front leg really early. Okay. Additionally, or they'll want to rotate within their hips, within their lower body before the front foot hits the ground. Okay. And another big thing is we see that front shoulder open up a lot, right? And these are all basic mistakes that we see that are outside of the throwing arm. We obviously will see a lot more stuff if we implemented the throwing arm instead as well. Okay, but what we want to be able to do, and the idea is, let's be able to make this as much of a sequential thing as possible. Okay, so we don't want to end up going and really being slow with the movement pattern, right? We want to be able to, one, get this foot down. Okay, and when we get this front foot down, we want to be able to keep most of that weight in that back. Okay, we want to be able to get that front foot down and then rotate into that front foot and with that front hip. Okay, so we're here and we're loading, get that front foot down. Before this front foot comes down though, we don't want it to start rotating, at least not rotating too much. If anything, it would be better to keep that front hip closed, so then you could use hip rotation and opening up the hip as a driving force when going through the throw. What we don't want to end up happening is we don't want to end up going and really getting a lot of rotation happening with that front foot off the ground, because now all of our weight is already shifting in that front leg and we lose that ability to generate force through the hip. Okay, instead we want to be able to land with this foot, right? And then when we land, we want to be able to rotate after we land. Okay, and then as we do that, we want to be able to, the best of our ability, keep that front shoulder closed. So we're creating that disassociation we talked a lot about in the past, where we're rotating in the hips, right? Keeping that front shoulder closed, and then as we start to be able to come through with the hand, to come through with the ball, we want to be pulling that front shoulder open and then releasing the throw. Okay, so those are like the four main points. One step, right, land, okay, then rotate, then front shoulder, then release. All right, I'm going to go through a couple of those for you so you can go ahead and see what that should look like. All right, so as always, if you like the information from this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. The subscribes and the likes really help us out a ton. Want to be able to provide as much information for you as a quarterback. We do have links in the description down below if you want to find out more about how you can improve as a quarterback. You could either do more of a long-term thing, which is going to be the 3-month program, or you could also do the monthly program. Either way, you're going to be able to get a lot of improvement within your throw. We're going to put a big focus on the mechanics. And the common mistake that I see with people that are struggling with their mechanics is they're looking too much like globally, right? Looking at all the things that need to improve within their throw. And I think this also makes a big impact on when it comes to playing in games or in any type of live situation, where I get this a lot, where people will come in and say, you know, their quarterback looks good with their mechanics until they get into the games, and then the mechanics kind of go out the window. And the reason that happens is because there's not a good fundamental understanding of what needs to be happening in comparison to what is happening. So within the program, what we do is we really isolate the small kind of minute parts of the throw, right? The wrist position, the step, the hip rotation, the weight shift, whatever ends up being the elbow drive, and the timing behind those parts of the throw, to then be able to make it so we can create a clear difference between before and after, and a clear understanding between correct and incorrect. And now you're going to have a better opportunity to be able to actually see the results, not only within your throw when you're just practicing, but also when it comes to games, because it'll be more of a ingrained habit. So if you're not totally understanding everything, that's when you'll end up going into a competition and the mechanics will kind of go out the window, because there's not an ingrained understanding of exactly what needs to be happening within the throw. So again, guys, if you want to improve the mechanics, be able to throw the ball further, get more accuracy, get more consistency, I highly recommend you guys checking out the program down below in the description. It's going to make a big difference in your development and your ability to throw the ball further. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.